over here in the Tanya. So he says, "B'zeh yuvan ma shekatuv, v'shavtem reitem ben tzadik l'rasha, ben oved elokim la'asher lo avdo." It says in the pasuk, you will return, and you will see the difference between the tzadik and the rasha, between the one who serves God and the one who does not serve. And it's pasuk in Malachi that the tzaddik, he's considered currently serving God. He's belashon hoveh, in the present, right? Shu be'emtza avodah. He's in the middle of work. And what does it mean avodah Hashem? It's work. It's hard work to be able to overcome the Yetzer Hara, as opposed to the Rasha. He's not working. He just gives in. You know, she'i milchemet Yetzer Hara v'yitgaber alav l'garsho me'er ktana. It's like a dog. It's like a dog, the Yetzer Hara, that you have to like kiss him. You have to kick him out. You have to constantly work. As the Mashal, the Midrash says that there was a baker. He was making a lot of bread, and the dog was hungry. It was a stray dog, so he wants to go and grab one or two, whatever it is. So he knows if he tries to grab, the baker will just shoo him away. He's constantly there. He's constantly watching it. So what does he do? He's sleeping. He pretends to sleep, the dog, and then the baker, he sees the dog. Okay, he's a sleeping dog. What's the big deal? So he goes and he starts walking next to it, not afraid that the dog will do anything. And he's holding a big tray of whatever he's holding, bread, croissants, treats, whatever it is. All of a sudden, the dog waits for the right moment. He goes, whoa, 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 whoa. And he goes and he scares the living daylights out of the guy. And then the platter goes flying, and all the bread goes, all the rolls go everywhere. And then he's busy. The baker's trying to pick up the rolls, and the dog grabbed one or two, and he ran away. You know, so that's what the Yetzer Hara does. He knows he can't take straight at you one or two. He waits and waits and waits till you put your guard down. Then he goes, oh, he goes and makes a huge, big deal, big desire, big sales pitch to you. Sounds too good to be true. And then you fall for it, but you don't fall for it all the way. You fall a little bit. He takes one or two from you. But then he does this every day. And then once you do this every day, so then one or two builds up. And eventually, you could have sold this roll for, $1. And so he stole from you $1, $2 every day. And over the years, he stole from you thousands and thousands of dollars. The point is that that's a hard job, to constantly be on guard, vigilant, that he shouldn't affect you. He fights with the tzaddik, he fights with the Yetzer Hara, or the Beinoni, fights with the Yetzer Hara, that he shouldn't take mitlabesh. He shouldn't take form in his body and give him be like his clothing, like we said before, envelop him. He shouldn't become part of him by giving into him. Rather, he pushes him away. Shu be'emet avodah. It's a real job. Amal gadol lilechem bo tamid. It's a very hard work. As a pasuk says, adam la'amal yulad. A man was created to work. So now the businessmen, they read this pasuk and they say, yeah, I love this pasuk. This is a great pasuk. The man was created to work. You have to go to work. But they don't understand that the real meaning of it is spiritual work, spiritual labor, to work on yourself, to constantly work and fight the Yetzer Hara. And like I said many times, in America, they mistrain us. They misguide us. Then what do you do? They go, what do you do? And if you think about it, what do I do? What do I do? I mean, I'm sitting here right now, or you could answer, I'm a Jew and I'm a servant of God. But in America, they taught us your job. What is your job? You're a doctor, or a lawyer. That's your life. That's your destiny, and that's what you associate with. And everything's about work. But really, everybody's supposed to answer, I'm a Eved Hashem. I'm a servant of Hashem. I do avodah every day. I go to work every day, fighting my Yetzer Hara, trying to fulfill my destiny of my life's mission. And that's really what your MO is supposed to be. Not I'm a jeweler, I'm a barber, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor. That's the side thing. I do mitzvot and I work on the side, as opposed to I work and I do mitzvot on the side. Haz shalom. So v'hainu Beinoni, and that's the Beinoni. He's constantly fighting the Yetzer Hara. They shouldn't take form and envelop him in his body. Rather, he should stick to following in the ways of Hashem. Aval tzaddik nikra Eved Hashem b'shem haTorah. But the real Eved Hashem is the tzaddik. If you imagine a guy's a slave, right? So you tell the slave, listen, where's your owner? He stepped out, he went to the market. Listen, just bounce, just run away, just do whatever you want. Just put your feet up, open his fridge, drink his whiskey. Like take it easy. What are you talking about? Never. God forbid. I mean, he's my master. You know how much he did for me. I worked loyally for years. I'm 4 generations his slave. What are you talking about? Hey, you nuts? So that's like a tzaddik. The tzaddik is like an Eved Hashem. He's a real servant of God. He has no doubts. How could I go and rebel against my master? I'm a servant. I'm only allowed to do what he tells me to do. There's no ifs and their buts. And that's the real title, Eved Hashem, applies to the tzaddik completely. Yeah, as opposed to the Beinoni always has these, these afterthoughts. Kmo Shem Chacham Melech, shekvar naaseh Chacham o Melech. Kach ze kvar avad vegamar, legamre avodat milchama im hara. And the guy was a tzaddik. He already got the status. A guy who's a chacham, right? A guy is a melech, right? You see a king, you see a guy who's a sage, you see a wise man has a big scientist. So you give him honor. This guy worked very hard. They say a line like this. They say you get rewarded in public for what you did in private. This guy, he worked very hard for a long time, and we see the fruit of his labor. Same thing with the tzaddik. The tzaddik, we give him kavod because he worked so much on his Yetzer Hara. His Yetzer Hara is like, destroyed. He doesn't listen to it, and now we see the fruit of that labor. Look what a person could become. Look how great he is. And that is like a warrior. He's like a warrior. It's like seeing, people that love today to see the soldiers. They see soldiers, come on, yeah, soldier, IDF, oh. No, they deserve applaud, and they put their life on the line. That's priceless. But when you see a rabbi, you see a tzaddik that he's really a tzaddik, you should do the same thing. He's also a warrior. Well, okay, he's a physical warrior. He's a spiritual warrior. There's no different, And you have to give him the same. This guy, Mr. Moser Nefesh, gives over everything he has. This guy also gives over everything he has to fight the Yetzer Hara. And everybody has the ability to be a soldier of Hashem also. It's just a matter of, realizing it's into 2 different planes. One spiritual, one physical. But the soldiers that everybody understands, that's because it's physical, so it's right in front of us. Just for a tzaddik, we have to do a little bit more contemplation to understand deeply. But it's also there. He's a warrior. He accomplished a lot. He fought a lot. That means that there's a Beinoni who wants to really serve Hashem, and he's really struggling. And then there's a Beinoni who he wants everything easy. He wants to serve Hashem, but when it's too hard, and when he's lazy, it's hard for him. The mitzvahs that he do, it's because those came easy. Those there was no fight about. Like he anyways naturally wakes up early. So therefore that's why he came to shul. He naturally doesn't like this certain food, so that's why he doesn't eat it, even though it's not kosher. Anyways, he wouldn't have done it. But when push comes to shove, where those things that are very difficult for him, he really has desire for, then he really struggles mightily. So that a person has to break out of that level. He has to get past that level to really start serving Hashem. Like, you tell a guy, I used the restroom, I flushed after I used, like, okay, Hazak Baruch, like, shkoyach, of course, everybody does that, like, did you have a struggle, like, you had a desire not to, you fought it, like, Hazak Baruch, you did that, so a person has to know, what does it mean to really work and serve Hashem? Is where it's difficult for you, he says that a person's mission in this world is whatever's hard for you, that's what you came to fix, that's what you came to overcome. And that's why your mission is different than anybody else. Everybody else has a different Yetzer Hara than everybody else. So you have to applaud yourself and pride yourself where when it was difficult for you. A guy who came to the gym, he's lifting 5 pounds 10,000 times. See? 10,000 times I lifted 5 pounds. Oh, Hazak Baruch, what is that special? You lifted 500 pounds as a squat. Oh, now we're going to give you kavod. And the Beinoni, nonetheless, is not considered Rasha. But at the end of the day, remember, Rabbah said he's a Beinoni. So Beinoni means he has a struggle with the Yetzer Hara. He's not like the tzaddik it's a no-brainer for him to do mitzvot. The Beinoni has a struggle, but he doesn't do sin. At the end of the day, he doesn't fall to the Yetzer Hara. He doesn't stop learning all day. He never did a sin. Like Rabbah called himself a Beinoni. It's just what? It's just, he's not implementing his knowledge of Hashem and closeness to Hashem to destroy, get rid of the Yetzer Hara, he constantly allows his desires to have room for conversation at the negotiation table of his mind. That a person has to get to the level where he kick those out. You have some bad board members who have personal interests and ulterior motives. They don't belong at the negotiation table. They're at the board meetings. They don't belong there. We kick them out. You got to buy them out and kick them out. And the Beinoni didn't do that. They're still showing up at every meeting and yelling bupkis, and yelling nonsense. And then that's the Beinoni's problem. He says that if he would have gotten rid of all that stuff, all those board members, all the Yetzer Hara, he would be able to serve Hashem and be able to, learn Torah and to do more mitzvot on a higher level, on a higher frequency. And opposite, he won't have this nuisance anymore. He'll have more energy. He won't have to, take up space in his mind to have this mental anguish every time he wants to live life. That should I not? Should I not? He'll skip that whole thing. He says that for example, this person is able to matmid. Some people, they are able to just sit and learn. They have that. They have the ability to focus. They're naturally a type of person that there's some people who could talk for hours. There's people who could not see anybody for 3 days and they'll be fine. They're just the introvert. There's some people who naturally have affinity for things and it's very easy for them to do certain things. And you could get to that level too, even though you weren't born with it, by working on yourself and acquiring that, and that takes a lot of fighting with the Yetzer Hara. There's go and see what the Marines do. The Marines, where they have the training they have to do, go in freezing water, and they put them there until they get hypothermia. They almost, and you have to go through these constant obstacle courses in the mud, through thorns, you get all tired. They wake you up 3 a.m, and ask you all these difficult logical questions, and then moral decisions you have to make, and then they make you go 3 days without sleeping, and then you're already hallucinating, and you have to be in a pretend battlefield. They put them in crazy situations. But what? They break themselves through all of that, and then when the real thing comes, I've already been here, already done that. This is like a joke, a no-brainer. I already have these skills. So we have to do that as well. We have to look at our Judaism as a service, as a service of Hashem, and it needs training, and it needs the Parsha Kitetse. The Zohar says Kitetse milchama. When you go against your enemy, the Zohar says, who's the enemy? Your Yetzer Hara. You have to look at the Yetzer Hara like a war against them, like battle plans, and you have to train, you have to study, you have to it's going to be difficult, and you have to work on it. And eventually, once you do it enough, it just becomes. And then you see a Marine, and you say, why does he get this koch? Well, you don't realize it. He really trained for years for this. And you see a big tzaddik, and you're like, he gets up every day, he goes to the mikvah, he doesn't steal in business, he's good to his wife, he learns all day. How do you get this? How do you do this? I want to be able to do that every day, Rabbi. How do you do that? And then he says, listen, you met me after when I remember, I used to be like you also, I don't know how much training and struggle I went through. Problem is that people want to be Baba Sali in one day. They want to show up. Rabbi, that's it. I'm coming to Nets every day. Do you have a prior experience? Do you know what it means to wake up every single day? When you had a party, when you had you kept crying at night, when you felt a little bit sick, when the AC wasn't working, and you had a burst pipe. You know what that means to wake up every single day, no matter what? Rabbi, don't worry, I got this. I'm mighty. And then 2-3 days, where do you go? Where are you? Rabbi, I'm so tired. I went to Nets. I couldn't think straight at work. I was so tired. I came home and needed a nap. My wife said to me, what is this? You became a grandpa. You're so tired. It's not easy. It's not. So that's the training. Now you just came to basic training. That was basic training. You see us in this place, all these people do it. They already went through basic training. They already went through the gauntlet, and now you just started. So therefore, when a person reminds himself as a Beinoni, to be an Eved Hashem, to be servant, is real hard work, a service like in an army, the army of Hashem, then you'll be able to start tapping into what it means to become a tzaddik.